Welcome to a moment of peace. Hello, dear friend. I'm so glad you're here. Take a deep breath, settle in, and let this video gently unwind your mind and spirit. Whether you need a break from a busy day, a moment of calm before sleep, or simply a quiet escape, I hope this brings you comfort and relaxation. Feel free to close your eyes, listen, and let go. You deserve this. Blue Heart, thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this peaceful moment, consider subscribing for more calming content. Wishing you serenity and light. Now relax and enjoy. Mindfulness meditation and breathwork are two of the most accessible and powerful tools for calming the mind, reducing stress, and promoting emotional healing. Here's a brief overview of each and how you can practice them. Man in Lotus Position Mindfulness Meditation. What it is. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment. Meditation helps anchor your awareness so you can observe your thoughts, emotions, and sensations calmly. Simple practice, 5 to 10 minutes. Sit comfortably with your back straight. Close your eyes or lower your gaze. Focus on your breath. Feel it moving in and out of your body. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring your attention back to the breath. Notice thoughts without attaching to them. Let them pass like clouds in the sky. Benefits. Reduces anxiety and stress. Increases focus and emotional clarity. Enhances patience and compassion. Wind-face breathwork. What it is. Breathwork is the conscious control of your breathing pattern to calm your nervous system or energize your body. Simple practice, box breathing, 4-4-4-4. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 seconds. Hold again for 4 seconds. Repeat for 1 to 3 minutes. Benefits. Calms the fight or flight response. Balances oxygen and carbon dioxide levels. Can quickly center you in stressful moments. Let me more clear you with a story. The mountain breathes too. In the high valleys of Colorado, nestled between pine forests and snow-dusted peaks, there lived a woman named Ilara. After years of city life, of endless meetings, glowing screens, and tight schedules, her soul had begun to whisper for something quieter, something older, something that moved slower than time. So she left. She packed up her small car with books, a yoga mat, some worn journals, and a kettle for tea. She drove for days, watching the landscape unfurl into wide skies and stillness. Eventually, she found herself renting a modest cabin beside a still lake, where the only sounds were wind in the trees and birds that didn't care what day of the week it was. But even in the silence, Ilara brought the noise with her. Her thoughts swirled, filled with worries. What next? What would she do here? Could she bear the absence of everything she'd once called life? One early morning before dawn, she stepped outside wrapped in a thick blanket. The air was cold, her breath a little cloud in the sky. In front of her, the mountain loomed. Silent, ancient, unmoving. She sat on a log and simply stared at it. And then she breathed, in and out, deeply, slowly, deliberately. There was no technique at first, just her breath. But slowly a rhythm came. She inhaled for a count of 4. Held it. Then exhaled just as slowly. Something shifted. Her heart slowed. The mind softened. The trees didn't judge her. The mountain made no demands. Every morning after that, Ilara sat in the same spot. Sometimes with her eyes closed, sometimes with them open, always with her breath. She found that when her thoughts got loud, memories, regrets, fears, she could return to that simple act. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. The same way the mountain held the sky, and the lake held the light. One day, after weeks of this quiet practice, something happened. A storm rolled in. Not outside, inside. A deep emotion she'd pushed away for years rose suddenly in her chest. It came with heat, a lump in her throat, and the sting of tears. She stood up, her breath shallow and quick, on the edge of panic. But she remembered the breath. She sat. And she breathed into the fear. Not to push it away, not to silence it. Just to hold it. As if the breath were a cradle. And her pain was something small and scared needing to be rocked. She breathed through it. Minutes passed, maybe an hour, and then, like storms do, it moved on. And she was still there, alive, whole, breathing. In time, Ilara came to believe the mountain was breathing with her. When the wind rushed through the trees, it was the mountain exhaling. When the mist lifted at dawn, it was the mountain inhaling the day. She realized that breath was life's most constant companion, always there, ready to return her to the moment, no matter how far she wandered. Years later, when Ilara returned to the city for work, she carried the mountain within her. And every time the world pressed too hard, she sat, closed her eyes and remembered. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. The mountain breathes too. In a world that often moves too fast, your breath is always home. A quiet space where nothing is expected of you except to simply be. Whether you're on a mountain, in a crowded room, or lying awake at night, remember, you don't need to fix everything right now. Just breathe. The rest will come in its own time. You are already enough. One breath at a time. The Quiet Between Raindrops. There was a man named Samuel who lived in a city that never slept. He worked in finance, wore perfectly pressed suits, and moved from subway to skyscraper like a cog in a massive humming machine. His life was efficient, well-managed, and outwardly successful. But inwardly, he was unraveling. Every day felt like a sprint on a treadmill that never slowed. His mind was cluttered with meetings, worries, and endless lists. Even when he lay in bed at night, his body exhausted, his brain refused to rest, churning thoughts like storm clouds rolling endlessly across a sky that never cleared. It wasn't a breakdown that brought him to mindfulness. It was a bookstore. He ducked inside one rainy evening, seeking shelter from a sudden downpour. The shop was dimly lit, quiet, and smelled of old paper. While browsing aimlessly, his eyes landed on a thin book titled Mindfulness, The Art of Being Where You Are. He didn't know why he bought it. He didn't even read it for days. But one sleepless night, frustrated and wired, he finally opened it. And on the very first page, a sentence struck him like lightning. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. That night, he sat on the floor in his living room, surrounded by the faint sound of city traffic. He closed his eyes as the book suggested and tried to follow his breath. Inhale, exhale. Within seconds, his mind pulled him away. Thoughts shouted, memories flickered. A to-do list surged forward. But the book had prepared him. Don't fight the thoughts. Just notice them. Then return to your breath. So he did. Again and again. Dozens of times in that first session. His attention wandered. And dozens of times, gently and without judgment, he returned. Felt strange. This quiet watching. Like sitting beside a wild animal instead of trying to tame it. But something small and important happened that night. For the first time in a very long time, Samuel wasn't at war with his mind. In the weeks that followed, he carved out 10 minutes a day. Just 10. No phones. No expectations. Just sitting, breathing, watching. He learned that mindfulness wasn't about stopping thoughts. It was about creating space between them. He realized how often he lived on autopilot, reacting instead of responding, rushing instead of noticing. One afternoon, sitting in a park during his lunch break, he looked up and saw a single leaf fall from a tree. It spun through the air like it was dancing, like the world had paused just for him to see it. He felt tears rise, not from sadness, but from a kind of awakening. He was finally present, not chasing, not remembering, just here. Months passed. Samuel's life didn't magically change. He still worked, still paid bills, still had hard days. But something inside him had softened. When stress rose, he noticed it. When anxiety knocked, he acknowledged it. He stopped pushing everything down and started making room for being instead of doing. He began to discover small sacred things he'd never noticed before. The way sunlight moved across his kitchen wall in the morning. The weight of a coffee mug in his hands. The silence between raindrops on his window. He came to understand that peace doesn't arrive with the absence of problems. It arrives in the presence of awareness. Years later, someone asked Samuel what mindfulness had really given him. He paused, breathed, and smiled. It gave me my life back. Not a new life, but the one I was too distracted to see. Mindfulness isn't an escape. It's a return to yourself, a return to this moment, to breath, to body, to the miracle of being alive, right here, right now. Breathe. You're already home. If this video brought you peace, don't forget to like, save, or share it with someone who needs a moment of calm. Tap the bell so you'll never miss your daily dose of serenity. What type of words and sound helps you relax? Tell me in the comments below.